Hello everybody, welcome back to Read and Reread. I am Angelia and today is time for Friday Reads on April 4th. Yes, we have advanced right into April. Here we are, it's going on. It's time. I gotta do my taxes. I haven't done them yet. How's everybody doing? I'm gonna confess, I'm kind of struggling. I kind of have a malaise. And you can imagine what's causing this malaise. And so I am going to endeavor not to present a low energy video here because I'm just kind of bummed out. But I am taking solace in reading and friends and community and family as best I can under the circumstances. So I don't want to do a whole gloomy video of despair. Let's talk about some good things. And one good thing is tomorrow, Saturday, at 1 o'clock my time, but all different times depending on where you live, I will be appearing on a live on YouTube. And this is hosted by Roz from Scally Dandling About the Books and Katja from Page Turners with Katja. This is a monthly live that they're doing in conjunction with the Reading the Globe project, where they discuss the book from the month before and they invite one booktuber who participated in that month's discussion to come on as a guest. And so they invited me for the discussion on We Do Not Part by Han Kang. So I am really excited. I'm going to go back through, I'm going to skim back through that novel because it's been a few weeks since I read it, sort of revive it in my mind so that I will have something halfway articulate to say in the discussion hopefully tomorrow. But I hope that you can join in on that, especially if you have read the book. If you've not read the book, you can still come and join in. You might hear some spoilers, but I'm sure it's going to be a great conversation and chat with everybody who is able to participate and watch. So that's coming up. I'll put the link information down below. It's also on my posts, my community posts, and I think also on Roz and Katja's posts as well. Another bookish type thing that I'm doing this weekend that I think will be fun. On Sunday, we have tickets to go see a play. One of our local theater companies is doing Murder on the Orient Express, and this company tends to do musicals, but I don't think this one is a musical. I wonder if they're still going to have live music though, because they do the music live. They have a band and a kind of a little orchestra pit. This is sounding fancier than it is. It's a small theater, but they do use live music. So I hope that they have that anyway, even though it's not a musical. So I'm looking forward to that. We took the old people tickets this time and did Sunday afternoon. We usually do their evening, but I got afternoon tickets so we can see what it's like to go to an afternoon performance at this theater. And then next weekend we have that book festival that I talked about last time, so I'm looking forward to that as well. So there are fun things going on, even though there's just no dodging the troubled times. It's just how it is. This week in TV viewing, we dropped watching Paradise on Hulu. I don't want to ruin it if somebody else is enjoying it, but it was one of the most awkward shows. It is, I don't even want to tell you what it's about because it kind of ruins it, because there's kind of a reveal in the first episode. But the dialogue, even the positioning of where people are, it's so awkward. There's so many scenes where we were just like, why are they standing like that? Why did he say that? Why is his face like that? Like, it was just the weirdest. I don't know who's directing this thing. The musical selections were terrible. Every episode has a song in there somewhere that is a bad song, and then they always use it twice, and they put one of those real wispy covers. It's kind of emo and I don't know, kind of just what was going on. It could have been good. The premise was really interesting. The cast was pretty good, but they weren't getting very good stage directions. I don't know. What else? There's only one episode left of White Lotus, and I don't know. So we were thinking about trying some episodes of Black Mirror. Years ago, we watched the first episode of Black Mirror, and this was back before well, I mean, streaming existed. I think we just didn't have it, but we borrowed it. A friend had it on a DVD. We watched one episode, the first episode, the one with the pig, and we just said, okay, I don't think so. I don't think this is the show for us. So then we never watched it again, but heard about it, and it's still going. Oh, and it sounds like the kind of thing we would like. It's science fiction. It's kind of dystopian. So I read a couple articles about the best episodes, and I made a little cheat sheet. So I feel like maybe we'll just try some certain episodes and see how that goes. I don't know. Really kind of just hanging in there for The Last of Us to come back on, which is right around the corner. So that's television. Let's get on to the books. So I feel like I've talked about this book a lot because, oh, look, it matches me. So last Friday, I had just started reading it. Can you hear Steven's going right past the window with the lawnmower? Last week, I had just started reading it, and then I was doing a haul video on Tuesday, and I think I'd already finished it. And so this is a buddy read. I'm all out of order. It's The Dream Hotel by Laila Lalami. It's a buddy read with my friend Michael. We're not quite finished discussing it. It was on the long list, the Women's Prize long list. It did not make the cut to the short list this week. That's another thing. My mind is so jumbled up and disorganized right now. The women's long list got cut to a short list, and they cut this out. They cut the other book out that I still want to read, which is Nesting. They left in The Safe Keep, which I thought it was really good, and also the Elizabeth Strout book, Tell Me Everything. They also left in All Fours by Miranda July, which Wild Horses could not make me read that book. I don't care. You could put it on every short list till the end of time. I think it's on the Carol Shields one as well, and I will not read it. I will die on that hill that I'm not going to read All Fours. So every review, I love the bad reviews I've heard of that book, and I know some people love it. If you love it, that's great. I'm glad you had a good experience. You can't make me read it. I'm not going to. If you're still here watching this video, let's get back to The Dream Hotel. So it is a dystopian novel. Now, if you normally don't read dystopian novels, I do recommend this because it's not as bleak and harsh, and it won't leave you in despair when you get to the end. You will be disturbed. You will have things to think about and consider. You will see the connections to reality and today's life, but you won't be left just sobbing on the beach like when you get to the end of the road, or some other books that I've actually loved. But there is kind of a range of bleakness to dystopian novels, and this one I think is not, it's unsettling, but it's not just devastating. So if you want to dip your toes into the genre, then this might be a good one for you to try. So in this book, a woman named Sarah Hussein is detained at the airport. She's coming back where she lives in LA from a work-related trip to London. She gets detained because her risk score has gone above a certain threshold. Everyone has a risk score, kind of like a credit score, and it's your risk for committing a serious crime. And it is based on a lot of algorithm data that has been collected from all of the surveillance, security, and convenience apps that we use in our everyday life, including the one that really causes the problem for her, this thing called a Dream Saver, is an optional device that people can have implanted to fix sleep disorders. And when people have severe sleep problems, it's a desperate feeling, and you really will get to a point where you think, I'll just try anything. And so the Dream Saver is a device that a lot of people in this near future time are using, and it kind of it compresses your sleep so that maybe you only sleep for 4 hours, but you will get the physical benefits and rested feeling of 8 hours of sleep. And so in this novel, Sarah's husband already has the Dream Saver, and then she doesn't have it. She's holding out. She doesn't want to do that. It seems kind of invasive. But then after they have twins, and she just has this really disordered, disjointed sleep. She's trying to go to work. The babies are waking up all night. She sees her husband just lying there out like a light. She finally caves in and gets a dream saver, and it changes everything in her sleep and her energy, and she feels good, and she's not strung out anymore. So everything seems great until she gets flagged at the airport, because in the fine print that you sign off on when you get a dream saver, it does say something in there about the data that the device collects can be used for different applications. Well, one of them is that the contents of your dreams are being turned over to SafeX, the company that does the risk profiles. So something in one of her dreams has triggered this detention, and she has had a dream apparently of harming her husband. She doesn't even remember this dream, and she tries to tell him it's ridiculous, but that's what the algorithm says. So she gets sent to this facility. Now, I don't want to tell you anything more about it, but there's a lot in here about surveillance, privacy, the sharing of data, the profit motivations, and it just gets into a lot of things. So that's the Dream Hotel. I don't want to say anything more about it. We're still discussing it, but that's what it's about, and it's really quite intriguing. Is it perfect? No, it's not. There's some loose ends, things I wanted. I felt like things that were brought up and then not developed adequately to my satisfaction. But overall, I found it to be a very propulsive and interesting read. All right, so then I moved on. I did read one of the plays for this month's Endless Drama Project. And if you like to read plays, you can join in on Discord. We talk about 2 plays every month. And one of the plays this month is The Piano Lesson by August Wilson. Now, it just began, this discussion, because this is the play for the first half of the month. So again, I'm not going to, what did I do that for? Ooh, I'm not going to get way into it. But it is, August Wilson did a 10-play cycle about the African-American experience in America in different decades. And I think they're all set in Pittsburgh. And I thought it was a 4-play cycle, but then I was reading some articles, they talked about a 10-play cycle. So I'm still learning about August Wilson, but this particular play is set in Pittsburgh in 1936, and there is a family that has an heirloom piano. The piano has a long and checkered history, and they're at one point in the story, we get the entire story of the piano's history, how it came to have the carvings that represent different members of this family, and the piano's travels through a few different wings of the family. It has a history that is enmeshed in American slavery, and it's possibly haunted. So the piano is in Bernice's living room. Bernice lives with her uncle Doker and her daughter Maritha, who's an 11-year-old girl. She's widowed. She's still grieving her husband. The drama begins when Bernice's brother, Boy Willie, shows up with his friend Lyman in a big truck full of watermelons and a plan to sell the watermelons plus the piano to make enough money to buy some land that is coming up for sale. Who is selling the land? The circumstances of that, Bernice's adamant opposition to selling the piano, all of this comes into play, and we get a story about the family legacy with the piano at the heart, with the piano representing so many more things about these people's history and their relationships with each other. And so that's what the piano lesson's about. And I'm not going to go further into it because we haven't had any discussion really yet at all. It's just sort of just now getting started. So that's what I finished, and now I have some ongoing and upcoming things. I did start reading A Sunny Place for Shady People by Mariana Enriquez, and this is the April selection for the Reading the Globe project. And it is a collection of short stories by an Argentine author. They are translated by Megan McDowell. I've read the first 3 stories so far, and again, it's brand new this month, so the discussion has not really gotten very far yet, and so I don't have a ton of things to say right now. The category is horror, the genre is horror. The first three stories are all each distinctive. One is just a straight up ghost story. One is really more about grief, in my opinion, and then was body horror. So far, that first one, the ghost story, was my favorite. And they are not linked stories. So my approach, if I'm reading a collection of short stories that aren't linked, I don't just sit and read one after the other. I will read a story and then I have to go do other things or read something else. And I might read two stories in the same day, separated by other reading or other just life activities. But that's about my pacing with a short story collection that's not linked. I'm going to intersperse it with other things so that the stories don't just end up in a big mashup in my mind. So it'll be interesting to see how the discussion unfolds, because then I'm a big short story lover. I like a good short story collection, whether they're linked or not. But people tend to be either really into short stories or kind of iffy and occasional about short stories. I haven't gotten far enough to have any pithy remarks or profound insights yet. Just reading it and see how I like it. And what else? Well, April is poetry month. So I have two things going right now in that category. I started reading Venus and Adonis by Shakespeare, The Bard Room, which is the monthly Shakespeare reading project hosted by Melinda at A Web of Stories. This month, for Poetry Month, we are reading this long form poem, and I'm reading it. I understand what it's about. I'm following it. I don't know how much I'm loving it right now. I mean, my first takeaway from it is Venus, he's just not that into you. It is the tale of Venus pursuing Adonis, who just wants to go hunting, and he's hunting a wild boar. And Venus has the major hots for him and is trying to seduce him. She can't understand why he would possibly not be into her intense sexiness, and she's just trying to convince him to just at least give me a kiss and then see what happens. So that's what it is. It's a tale of harassment. I'm working my way through it. Then I did start reading my new collection, 44 Poems on Being with Each Other, which is edited and collected and presented and discussed by Padraig Tuama. And it has a wonderful intro. In case you're thrown off by the title and you think it's going to be a bunch of just happy-go-lucky, feel-good poems, that's not really the point. It's deeper than that, about all the different ways that people connect or attempt to connect or fail to connect. But in the intro, he's talking about how poems operate, and I really love this passage. A poem understands the past has a life of its own, and is both patient and impatient with lament. It can contain rage and hunger, it can protest at the state of the world, and plot the low plod towards resented compromise. Poems are recipes for happiness and prayers for when no other prayers will do. They record what is unfolded and also what's been hidden in the folds. Poems confess, apologize, ask forgiveness, ask for mercy, ask for time, ask for space, ask to be read again, and ask for attention. A poem might be addressed to someone who will never read it, be they estranged or uninterested or dead, but the address is to you, and you can be anyone. My two favorite parts of that is a poem being impatient with lament. And I feel like some of my favorite poems really, really have that feeling in them. And then also, they record what's unfolded and also what's been hidden in the folds. And sometimes when I read a poem, I do have to read it several times, because even when the poem is attempting to reveal what's been hidden in the folds, it has folds of its own with things hidden in them that I have to slowly and patiently understand. So I have begun this. I've read the first few. I'm reading just one or two a day. And my practice is to read it a couple times and then read the essay, and then I read it again, usually out loud, and then I might look back at the essay too and just think of how I agree or disagree or don't understand, and then I move on. I am also continuing to read The Count of Monte Cristo. Looky. I am a good 2/3 of the way through this book. I'm on page 842. I have passed the mammoth mark. It is also my spring into adventure book. And I'm having a good time. I read a few chapters of this every day. Sometimes I get on a roll and I read a pretty good chunk, and other days I'm caught up in other things, or the chapter is sort of lagging and I might just read a couple. But I am enjoying this, and it's a really interesting reading experience for me because I'm very much a character-driven reader, and this is really not a character-driven book. It's a plot-driven book. So reading something this long, when I'm not accustomed to reading really long books and reading from plot, it's definitely an interesting challenge. And but I'm enjoying it quite a lot. And I have figured out why the book is so long. And it is because, so to be careful about spoilers, this book is mainly about revenge and reparations. It's about a person who is trying to mete out justice as he sees that it should happen to some certain people who committed some very egregious wrongdoings in his past. But he is not content to just use his resources to barge in and confront them and just have it out or murder them or whatever. They would be a very short book if he just caught up with each of the people and just got rid of them. But that is not the Count's game. The Count plays a long game. And the way that he is putting his revenge together, he's infiltrating certain families and positioning himself as a character in their lives. And he's put himself into a front row seat where he can influence and meddle and tweak with certain things in their personal lives, in their financial lives, in their political lives, whatever it is, and kind of instigate them to be the agents of their own demise based on their own bad characteristics. So as far as character goes, the most interesting people in this book are all of the bad people. Just the different ways that the liars, the cheaters, the connivers, how their own worst qualities kind of have contributed to both their success and their wealth, but it's also going to eventually contribute to their downfall, it would appear. So that is what I am enjoying that quite a bit. Something troubling that's come up in this novel that every time it keeps reappearing, and it's the Count's fault because he keeps bringing it up, is the fact that he owns slaves. And the first time it came around, I thought, well, maybe that's not really what it is, because he does have a habit. He does appear in different disguises and personas. So the first time that he presented a person as his slave, I thought, well, maybe he isn't really. No, he really is. So he has a couple of slaves, and he brags incessantly about how devoted and loyal they are to him. And even though he's in Paris, and it's not even legal there, and every time I briefly forget it, he brings it back up, and it irritates me all over again. And it's very problematic. I mean, that's not the only reason that I don't really like the Count as a person, but it is a major reason. And he isolates both of these people with language. So one character is a young woman who's Greek, and she only speaks Greek, and he speaks Greek to her. Nobody else speaks Greek in their social circle. And then the other person only speaks Arabic. And so they are right there. And the other characters, when it comes up, they're like, oh, you have slaves? Yes, they're wonderful and very devoted to me. And the other character's like, oh, okay. And I'm thinking, is anyone going to really say anything here? But I guess not. So that's bothering me. But the book is going along. I'm in no danger of not finishing. I'm enjoying the plot, and right now I'm all kind of up in the business of seeing how he's going to. Well, I don't want to tell you. I can't tell you on page 800 and something. I can't even describe it. With this upcoming week, I will be continuing with this book, and I might be starting in on some of the other April related readings. I know one thing I do need to read this week is the Laramie Project, the other play. And I need to read it early because I need to return it next weekend. My daughter borrowed it for me from her university library, and I'm going to see her next weekend. So I have to read it. I'm going to have to read it and take some notes or some screenshots or something. So I have it when we get to the discussion in the second half of the month. It's short. I don't think it'll take very long. I think it's going to be short and brutal. So I'm going to be reading that sometime this week, and I'm not sure what else. I need to take a look at all the different events and buddy reads and things like that that are unfolding and see what should be coming up next. But there it is. That's what I've been reading. What have you been reading? Are you hanging in there? How you doing? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.